I'm sorry to say, but I think you're rubbish at sales. Look, I don't mean to be offensive, but a lot of people think they're a lot better at sales than they really are. And you might actually be good at sales, but regardless, you should always be looking to, improve, right? So in this video, and I'm gonna be making some niche examples for online fitness and health coaches specifically, because those are the people I usually help, but regardless, in this video, you will learn the 5 key things I would do if I feel like my sales isn't as good as it should be, and so you can actually close 2, 3, 4, 5, 10K deals in 2025. Before I get into the main 5 things, I think you guys need to understand this one key thing that may actually be the main reason why you're not closing the deals you can. This has nothing to do with your sales ability. So listen up to this one. It's very, very specific and very important. But you need to understand the concept of selling before the call. I'm gonna go into this into another YouTube video, but most of the time, a prospect is simply just not warm enough. They're simply not nurtured enough. They simply just don't know you well enough to make a buying decision. You could have the craziest offer, the best sales skills, but if you do not nurture the prospect the right way, put them in the microwave, warm them up a bit, you might as well forget about it. Genuine. People often just send their calendar in to the DMs, the person books in a call, no touch point in between then and the call. They jump on thinking they're Jordan Belfort and they don't close the deal, and they ask themselves why, because there was no sales nurture process. And these are systems that you need to be injecting into your business. So what does a good sales nurture process actually look like? Number 1, you need content, but you need mass educating, nurturing content, and content that objection handles. That's the type of content you need. For example, with my clients, when someone books in a call, this is the process that undergoes between them booking in the call and them having the actual call. The person books in the call, they get the post-booking flow within the DMs from the appointment setter, and within that post-booking flow, we have 4 key trainings they must watch. Within these 4 key trainings, we have 1 training, which is a testimonial montage or case study of some sort, breaking their limiting belief that someone like them can't get results. That's number 1. Number 2, we have a process analysis asset. And this asset critically breaks down exactly what they really get when they join this coaching program. Of course, you don't have to be so direct about it, but you want to critically break down, for example, if you're a fitness and health coach, you break down the workout programs and your unique mechanism and why you're special. You want to break down the nutritional guidance you get, maybe the accountability they get, maybe they get educational platforms, maybe they get sleep tracking. Whatever they get, you want to break down your mechanism in a video sales letter of some sort, but make this one more indirect, more driven around the process. And then the last 2 things you want to be sending are objection handling assets. These objection handling assets simply break the prospect's limiting beliefs around the thing that you're selling. For example, one limiting belief someone could have is they're too busy to work out. And so you may want to have an objection handling asset breaking down that you can get in shape by just working out 2 to 3 times per week. That's an objection handling asset. There's some people who are even skeptical about spending a lot of money on fitness and health coaching. And you can break down a sales asset that explains why a cheap program will never get you results and why an expensive program will always get you results. The point is, you need to have assets that they need to watch before the call. Next to that, you need to have some sort of triage call. And this triage call has 3 purposes. I'm gonna go into the sneaky triage, which is what I like to call it, in another video. But it has 3 purposes: to disqualify the prospect, to make sure they show up to the call, and to collect as much information as possible on the prospect. You have your nurturing assets that they must watch. You have sales, you have your triage call, and then on top of that, you have reminders, SMS, email, to basically ensure that not only are they sold before the call within your sales nurture process, your long form content, and your front ending content, your top of funnel, your short form, but on top of that, they speak to a human being and actually hash things out so that this appointment setter can give information to the closer to make the close effortless. So we understand the concept of selling before the call. Now we truly need to understand what 5 things you can do to alleviate sales pain and just make yourself a better salesperson. And it's really simple, honestly. The first thing I would say that not many people have after watching so many sales calls for sales call reviews is tonality. And yes, I said it, it's tonality. People think, no, it's not that important. Tonality is just tonality, But when you realize that 50, 60, maybe even 70% of communication in conversation is body language. And then you realize on the phone, for the most part, or even on Zoom, you can't really gauge body language too well. What is the next best thing? And the next best thing is tonality. There are 3 key tonalities I like to go into, 3 key tonalities that move the needle. But overall, you really need to make sure that your tonality is on point and that you're taking the prospect on a journey rather than just simply blurting things out. Tonality is the way of communication without even saying words. The 3 key tonalities that I think are the most important are: number one, the confused tonality. This is used to debunk things and almost steady things out. I'll give you an example. If the prospect were to tell you, yes, I'm 89 kilograms at 5'4", instead of you saying to him, 89 kilograms at 5'4" is extremely heavy, you need fitness coaching, you can do something as simple as saying, 89 kilograms? And you can hear it in the voice. Jeremy Miner does this incredibly well. You want to question it in the most confused way possible, so then they backtrack on themselves saying, the reason why I'm 89 kilograms is because, and they tell you all the excuses they possibly have. But the point is, your tonality is so important. Out of tonalities, and I arguably think this next one is the most important, is that concerned tonality. If someone believes that you are actually out there to help you, they will pay you anything in the world because there is trust there. And the only way to show that there is trust there is through empathy. And for the most part, a good way to show empathy is via your tonality, sounding and showing that you really care. And the best thing is that you actually do care about your prospects' lives. But having this tonality, this empathetic tonality, this concerned tonality, that you haven't got in shape for the last 7 years, you've been out of shape. How does that actually make you feel on a personal level? That's the way you use that tonality. Finally, we have this affirmative tonality. And I think this is very important because sometimes it's semi-affirmative, almost angry tonality. And the question is, why would you even use this? And this for me is very important when breaking down the pitch. If you had someone going, yeah, I think we can, get you in shape and you need to just work out a bit and stuff like that. How confident would they feel in you actually getting them the results? Not very confident. But if you had someone emphatically breaking down the pitch deck, emphatically breaking down what will happen to them, convicted, affirmed, it's a given. Results are guaranteed. And so after these tonalities, it leads me to my next point, which is competence. Competence plus conviction leads to confidence, and confidence leads to you actually getting to where you need to get to, closing those difficult deals, exuding that feeling of abundance. You need to improve on a day-to-day basis your competence within the sales world and within the overall business world, but you also need to have confidence. Serene confidence at that. You need to have confidence knowing that your product is one of the best on the market, that you can actually change this person's life. And if you have this confidence, plus this competence of actually honing your skills, you're going to be incredible. Now, if you go into things that can actually help your competence, one of them stems into reviewing your sales calls, because not a lot of people do these. You think you sound a certain way, but when you actually dive in, when you listen to yourself speak, you understand exactly how you sound, your tonality, your mannerisms, and where you're going wrong. Number two, tracking your numbers. Tracking your numbers is so paramount. And so many people just neglect this. They think they had this month in terms of profit. They think they had this month in terms of revenue, but they don't know. And the final thing, which not only builds your competence, but also your confidence inevitably, is just consistently maintaining that student mind. See, it's very easy to think you're the best at sales. It's very easy to think you're the god at closing. But if you maintain that student's mind, consistently reading sales books, sales trainings, etc., you're only going to get better and better and better and better. And so to summarize, if you feel like you're rubbish at sales, especially as an online coach who I specifically help, just join the coaching community below for free. You need to understand that number one, tonality is very, very important. Number two, it's competence plus conviction, which provides you with confidence. And you need to make sure you're tracking your numbers, reviewing your calls, and maintaining that student mind. I hope you gained something from that video. Take action. Join the coaching community for free, where you learn how to scale up your own online health and fitness coaching business. God made, God paid.